Oh, and they started at 8:30 this morning to learn that. I mean, that was, I can't snap my fingers and do that right, but that was amazing. That's amazing. So, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are in full-fledged spring now. We've passed the equinox and we've passed the Easter, and we're almost into Beltane. So, I want to welcome anyone who is here for the first time or back after a long time. We have our representatives from our membership team, our wonderful membership team that's growing by the day. And there's a packet for you if you would like it. And in the packet is a blue card. And we're asking just for your contact information. And then we send you things about what's happening in the community. We don't bother you, but we send out 2 emails a week. One is a recap and one is an invitation. And then if you fill out that blue card and give it back to us, you get this wonderful little book called How to Speak Science of Mind, and which is where you are. You are in a community that teaches science of mind, and you're going to get some of that today. What do you know? So if you are here for the first time or back after a long time and would like one of our packets, just raise your hand. And our wonderful, okay. All right. So I know there are some people that are here that I don't know, but maybe next week. So, all right, my darlings. Here we are, still in 2017. Still in our values-based spiritual living. So I want to say that this whole year, spiritual living values are what we look at each Sunday. And these values, 3 values, are interpreted through the science of mind philosophy, this science of mind philosophy, and then applied to your life. Because our belief is that if you can't take what you get on a Sunday morning and not even wait until Monday, apply it, Sunday afternoon, that you haven't really had a wonderful experience in a spiritual center. And we pray you in. We pray in the whole service. And so it was prayed this morning that everybody gets exactly what they came to receive and more. So that's what you can anticipate from this morning. So our April theme is transformation and evolution, really appropriate for spring and Easter. The idea of dying to the old to be born again to the new. And so what a wonderful weekend to be Earth Day, Happy Earth Day. And this wonderful altar that was done by our Janet Ryan is so, you have to spend some time at this. This is wonderful. It's got earth, air, fire, and water, and the peaceable kingdom there. It is so, so beautiful. So thank you, Janet, for our Earth Day altar. And the best thing that I read on Facebook about this is a rewriting of the golden rule: do unto the earth as you would have the earth do unto you. So pretty fine, right? Okay, so here are the values that we're going to talk about today. And the first one is gratitude. So I'm kind of amazed that I got this far into the year without having gratitude as one of the established 3 values that I talk about on a Sunday, because it's my favorite. I mean, I love that. It is the essence of my spiritual practice is gratitude, and it is so central, I think, to spiritual life that one cannot have. I'll say this: one cannot have a satisfying spiritual life without being skilled in gratitude. And on the way to gratitude, there is acceptance. That's the breakthrough. When Katherine prayed today and she said she has only gratitude and no complaints, that's the essence of acceptance. That we don't resist what comes into our life. That not everything that comes into our life do we think we have created or that we like very much. And there it is. It plunked itself into our life. How rude. And if we accept it, then we are on the way to non-resistance, and gratitude flows. And then once we have gratitude, the awe of God and God's world and us in it and the magnificence of our life is the natural, it's the product of acceptance, gratitude, and then awe. So today, the title of the talk is, What's the Miracle You Want? So I hope you can see this great slide. It's got all of these great words: seek, ask, love, hope, oneness, now, soul, guardian angel, create. And it's there are a lot of words that are around the concept of a miracle. So I know that Reverend Scott, who's not here today, he gave a talk recently about miracles being ordinaries. If we don't think of them as miracles, but we think of them as ordinaries, then we have more of them in our life. And so I want to take that in a slightly different direction, because there's not just one way to teach a spiritual principle. For me, a miracle is a condition that we really, really want. And if that showed up in our world, I mean, to answer this question, what is the miracle that you want? You would probably answer that with a condition that you think, if it happened, would make you really, really happy, relieved, peaceful, content, joyful, blissful, those kinds of experiences. If that happened, you would feel pretty darn good. And that would be, you would say, a miracle happened, and so I feel so fabulous. But I want to suggest to you that those feelings don't come from the conditions. They don't follow from the conditions. They come on their own, and they come with or without conditions. We think that they are the result of the condition, but there are one of the central spiritual skills, besides gratitude, is the ability to conjure a reality, to conjure a felt sense that all is well. And we can do that no matter what the condition. So when we think about reality, there's really no reality out there. There's really only reality in here that we create. And reality is that felt sense of life. That's what it is. We're all sitting here. We're all having a different experience of reality. Can promise you that. And what it is that felt sense of life that comes from within out. And it has very little to do with conditions, because we're all experiencing the same thing. We're all coming to a Sunday service. That's the condition. And we're all having a different reality on the inside. And a very important spiritual skill is to be able to create for ourselves those experiences of happiness, relief, peacefulness, contentment, joyfulness, and bliss. And that's not only possible, it's the only way that they are sustainable. Because otherwise, we think they're based on conditions, and conditions come and go. And so the locus of control is on the outside of us. The conditions are on the outside, and so our happiness is on the outside unless we know how to create it from the inside. But it seems still, right? It seems like we'd be really, really happy if we won the lottery. But research shows that you're not. People a year after they have won the lottery, to a person, I believe, are not as happy as the year before they won the lottery. So what does ensure those great feelings of bliss and contentment is a wonderful relationship with our source. That's what really ensures it. And then the practice of making the reality inside what you want to experience on the outside. So I'm going to change the title of the talk slightly. So I'll see if this works here. So we're going to strike out miracle. And the new title is, What's the Happy Relationship with God that you want? So this happy relationship with God can be joyful or peaceful, or just that sense that all's right with the world. And you can make that yourself. Every morning when you wake up, you can just say, joy, come to me. And it will. It absolutely will. And I'm still going to talk about miracles, because I love miracles. And so we're going to come up with a couple of different definitions of them. So, first of all, miracle definition is this, the first one: an extraordinary and welcome event that is not explicable from our current state of consciousness. Okay? So, in our philosophy, we say that we are the co-creators of our life. We, through that conjuring, through that co-creating, through that noticing what we love and what we love very much, we make more of that. And so when a miracle steps in, it feels like it is so extraordinary that it can't be explained from our consciousness. That it's something that is so wonderful, and we've never thought of it. We're pretty darn sure we've never thought of it. How many have had such a wonderful experience that you cannot explain it? Yeah, everybody has it. And so this is what really can launch us into a practice of gratitude, because it's like grace. These gifts come from God. They just plop into our lives, and it's kind of like a little assurance, like, yep, we're all connected. Yep, here's a wonderful gift for you, sweethearts. I am here. I am in you. I am around you. All is well. Carry on. So, here is a picture of a miracle, a mind-bending miracle in my life. So, this is a set of silver-plated ware that belonged to my grandmother. And this silver-plated ware, I would bring out like for garden parties. Like, you know, she also had sterling, which comes out at Christmas. But, you know, this was when the regular silverware in the drawer wasn't enough for all the people that were eating on paper plates in the backyard. So we bring out the silver-plated stuff and then make sure that we get it all back in the box when the plates get thrown away. For so many years, I cannot even tell you, one knife was missing. Now, there are 8 knives here, but one is a spreader. But this knife was missing for decades. I mean, like when I started using this, after my grandmother died and we used her silver plate, the one knife was missing. And we put everything back in the box, and we would know that we had 8 of everything, but we had 7 knives, period, end of story. A couple of years ago, in my house, where my grandmother has never been, because she died before I moved there, I was needing to spread mayonnaise on something, or something, I don't know. I reached into the regular silverware drawer, and not looking, put my hand in the knife section. And because these knives have a very particular handle to them, I knew I had put my hand on the knife that had come back to me. Right there. I don't know what to say about that. It was inexplicable. I mean, it was in the house where I live with Mary and Amanda right now, and I called them and I said, what happened here? What happened here? And I told them that they knew that we had 7 knives, and then the 8th one came back. They had absolutely no idea where it had been either. And I'm telling you, 10 years it was gone. I never knew it to be there. And it came back into the regular silverware drawer in the knife section. Oh my God. So I'm telling you, my mind did not create this. I did not pray for the return of that knife ever. I'm telling you, ever. This was a happy surprise from God. It's the only explanation. And what it inspired in me, I'm telling you, is just slack-jawed awe and gratitude that something like this could happen in my universe that I could not explain. Now, all I ever did, if I took any responsibility for this at all I ever did was sort of generally pray every day for a closer walk with God. That's all I did. So, if I had asked for this condition, I would not have believed it possible. It would have been like, why bother praying for this when I can really create in my mind other things that have a greater opportunity of actually coming true? So this idea of the trouble with asked for miracles is this. Here we come back to, do you love this? I love this. Here's another definition of a miracle. An event so wonderful that it seems highly unlikely. So that's the trouble with asked for miracles. If you want something so badly, and you have prayed for it and prayed for it and prayed for it, and you've asked for prayers from the practitioners, and you've done treasure maps on it, and you've written songs about it, and whatever you do to create in your life, you have done. But back in the back of your mind, you believe it is highly unlikely, then no amount of asking will bring it forth. Let me say that again. When we think an asked for miracle is unlikely, no amount of asking will bring it forth. So how can we sort of hop over that doubt and say, never mind about this thing that I really, really want. I am just going to go for my relationship with God. Because, as it says in the Bible, seek first the kingdom of heaven and all else will be granted unto you. And you can say, well, this or something greater will pop into my life if I nurture my relationship with Spirit. And so there are some ways of accepting greater than you can imagine. That's what I'm going to talk about now. Ways for you to accept greater than you can imagine. And it's using phrases like these. I am open to life beyond my wildest imagination. This is how one of my Facebook friends signs off all of her emails. Jennifer Mann, I am open to life beyond my wildest imagination. Another one is, I expect to be happily surprised by God. And another is, I welcome joyful transformation. Now, if we nurtured this consciousness here, what we would be nurturing is saying to ourselves, I am open to miracles beyond what I can envision, beyond what my best thinking can come up with. I'm open to better than that. And because I remember the knife, I know that it's possible. So I can really get into these affirmations that are non-specific, just generally fabulous, and really anticipate greater and greater and greater things happening in my life. So these comments or affirmations like these, and you make up your own if you like, I would suggest that you nurture these every single day, because it's easy to feel happy and anticipatory when things are going well. But these kinds of comments, these kinds of affirmations can really help with acceptance when we turn our awareness to blessing instead of complaint about what's turned up in our life. So I'm standing here today. I was sitting last Sunday, but my, this hip you could just beam some love right here if you don't mind. It's still sore, and I'm healing. And so I'm wondering to myself, why did I create this? That's a useless thing to ask, but I do it myself. But if I can turn that around and say, I am open to a blessing, not in spite of, but because of this condition, so that I can prove the principle of healing and love God all the more, then that's what I'm doing with this. So I encourage you to this is how we manage our mind. It's a daily practice where we look for the good and praise it. And this does not mean that we are mindly Pollyanna-ish and just, put our head in the sand and don't look at conditions that are not to our liking. But we can be sad. We can be angry, we can be disappointed, and then say to ourselves, all right, I've had a moment of disappointment. Now I am open to the magnificence of God showing up in my life in unanticipated and very, very welcome ways. That is the process of a metaphysician as I understand it. That we look to the good and praise it. We do not ignore the conditions that make us sad. We do not ignore whatever is going on that makes us, or that doesn't make us, but we respond to it with less than joy. We have those feelings, and then we put them aside and say, I'm ready for joy now. So one of the things that's happening with my hip is that I'm really slowing down. I don't trot my whole day away, going here and here and here and here and here. And it's a wonderful season to slow down in the spring because you can really notice every single rosebud opening, which I'm doing with my backyard right now. So there's some more to do, and we're going to look at that right now. Some ways of welcoming a miraculous life, all right? So the first is focus on the qualities of life. So what do you love to feel? What experience just fills your heart and has you overflow with acceptance, gratitude, and awe? So I thought of me. I mean, these talks come out of me, and so I love to feel love. I love to watch love. I love to notice love. So I thought I'd just share with you some of the things that have happened already this morning. So I came to the service and I see these sweet, sweet beings learning their words out of the love of singing. And it's the sweetest thing. And then Steve Einhaus brings the entire Whole Foods store to you so that you can eat healthy food after the service. And it is because he loves this community and he loves you and he follows that with action. And then I just see spring outside and how amazing that is. I see Janet come in and play with her altar and with the little animals, and how absolutely darling and sweet and filled with love this altar is. And then she specifically tells me that what does the Native Americans call Earth? The Turtle Island. So we have a Turtle Island drum that is anchoring the altar. She loves this. And she brings this for us to love. And then Julie brings me some cream to put on my hip and out of love for me. And Joe is meditating, bringing light into her hip. She was doing her left hip, and I told her, just transfer to the right hip, please. So and people are so loving of me in pain, wanting to take it away. That is so loving. And then I see Jane come in. Jane gave her whole home to the practitioners yesterday for a practitioner retreat out at Stinson Beach. And she's here today out of love for us and out of love for the practitioners. And so when I sit and think about that, my life is filled with love. I am a happy girl. And all I've done is come to service and notice things, you know? And that's what you can do as well. You conjure that feeling, and that feeling won't go away. It doesn't go away that love is in my heart and around me, and I'm living through love because I notice these things. Next, practice intense gratitude. When we move from the awareness of what we love into just deepening it into gratitude, and then deepening it and deepening it, that increases that wonderful feeling for us. And so I suggest that you roam in the past and the future. Usually we want to stay in the present moment, right? But when we're in gratitude, meander to the past and what you have loved in the past and what you're grateful for. Then meander to the future and what you're going to be grateful for. That brings the gratitude into the present moment, but it's spread out over your lifetime. So think about how well something turned out. That, like Easter. Oh my God. Easter turned out so well. I have thought about it all week long, how everybody was so happy and so amazed, and Reverend Lloyd was so happy, and so many people came up and loved him up, and so it was, I have given gratitude many times for the Easter that we had last week. And then those of you that are on Facebook, when you scroll through your news feed and you see somebody's baby, pause and be grateful for the baby. When you see somebody's cat, like Suzanne Baldwin has put up 9,000 pictures of her cats. Anybody that's friends with Suzanne Baldwin knows the 9,000 pictures of those cats. Pause. And she does that because she loves them. And then finally, develop an intimate, loving relationship with your source. All these gifts come from the same place. They come from God. And so for you to be grateful to your source and courting the presence daily, the most recent change that we made in the order of service was to insert a second chant right at the beginning. So we have now the welcome, then we have the chant, and then we have another chant. And the second chant is called the prayer chant, and it's designed to take you deeper into your heart, to help you nurture that relationship with Spirit. So that's about it. That's the lesson today. Except I do have a concluding statement that I want to bring it back around to Earth Day and all the science marches that happened yesterday, all over. And to say to you how much I love science and how much I believe in the scientific method and that science has helped us understand our world so much better. And indeed, the name of our philosophy, the science of mind, and the name of our parent or our auntie, Christian Science, has that word science in it. And the metaphysical denominations that have come from Christian Science, divine science, religious science, science of mind, they have the word science in there. And science in that instance means that if you do these things, if you practice gratitude, if you practice acceptance, if you nurture awe, you will have these results. That's essential. That's a very simplified thing of science. If you do this, this is going to be your predictable result. So I love the science in the lab, and I love the science in science of mind. And there is more to the world than hasn't been explained yet, like where in the heck was that knife? So what we can't explain is where the miraculous comes in. And those wonderful surprises that can't be explained. So a final affirmation that I have for you is, there is much more glory than I have seen so far. Let's say that together. There is much more glory than I have seen so far. So with that, and I would love to hear the miracles that come into your life. Would the practitioners please surround the room now? As we review gratitude, acceptance, and awe, so these are all prayed-up practitioners having retreated this weekend. So as we turn within, with that heart that knows how to nurture the good. The deep divine heart within us that knows how to look for love and find it, that knows how to look for peace and find it, that knows how to create out of the ethers of the universe contentment. That as we do this, as we make more love, as we make more peace, as we make more joy, we are paving the way for the miraculous. Those beautiful surprises that cannot be explained with our current level of thinking, that are available, where God is essentially saying to its precious creation, which is us, here you go, babies. Look at this. Look at this one. Wow, look at this one. Because God wants that intimate relationship with us more than we want that intimate relationship with our Creator. And miracles are a sure way to get our attention. And so I remember with you, there is much more glory than I have seen so far. Blessed be.
Invite the